here. Here's a round of this Crockett Park. Hole 1 is 382 feet. There's an initial gap off the tee pad. It's a little windy here today. I had a left to right wind. I'm throwing my 450 D2. Gets an initial flex, comes back right in front of the basket, leaves me about a 10-foot putt. I don't want to take these putts for granted, so I take my time, cash in the birdie. It's a good birdie to get. Hole 2 is over 400 feet. I really just play for the 3. I can get to the basket, but it's really tough. It plays really far, so I just went for the hyzer layup. And then here, I got a nice tailwind, so I throw a high hyzer with my A2. I end up throwing my A2 a lot here today. I just didn't really put myself in position to get the birdie enough, so I threw my A2 on my approaches a lot. Another 15-footer, glad to cash that in. Hole 3 has a really tight gap at first. I'm gonna take the sidearm route here. It's very consistent even in the wind, and I throw it. You can't really see it through all the light, but I end up 40 feet right, a little bit short. Lining this up, I was pretty confident. Slight jump, cash it in, right side. That's good to be 2 down through 3. I've never birdied hole 2, so going into hole 4, it's a long par 3. I try to get up the hill as far as possible. I got a really good rip on this. I was pretty happy with how it came out. Just a little right side of a nice forehand approach, A2. Barely missed that tree on the inside, and then have a tap in par. Hole 5 here is really just a layup hole for me, and then I throw a sidearm approach. I'm gonna end up throwing my 400 M3 through this gap that you see towards the middle or the right side of your screen. It actually fights through the trees. I thought it was stuck in there. And then I have this nice A2 approach. I leave it high and on hyzer, and it comes in. It actually hits the basket and stays there. I was fortunate not to get a skip. Hole 6, par 3, 253 feet. This is a really great soft mid-range hyzer shot. I'm throwing my M3 again. Kind of clips some early branches, knocks it down. Leaves me with about a 60-foot jumper. Didn't really get good snap on this, left it a little early. I'd like to leave it a little wider to give it a good run, but it's a tap in 3. Being 2 down through 6 isn't really horrible. Hole 7 is a really tight hyzer flip up the hill. It says 248, but the hill is a lot more extreme than you'd think, so I'm throwing my 400 GD4. And then here, putting, kind of out of position, away. My putt was flexing back, but it hit that tree. I have a nice little 10-footer to tap in. And then hole 8 is a really short downhill hyzer shot. I end up taking a standstill shot with my 300 PA4. I want to put it on a really sharp hyzer, and it flips up, glides down the hill, looking to make this birdie putt. This is one of the easier holes on the course. Taking my time on the putter, just completely grip locked it, missed it right. Now I'm putting a comebacker from about 18 feet. Catch that one in. Hole 9, 704 feet long, OB, the only par 4 on the course. I just like to have a nice layup hyzer shot. I don't want to go out of bounds. That's the biggest mistake. On this shot, my only thought was to keep it in bounds, but I turned it over too much. The wind held it over. I'll be shooting 4 from about 200 feet from the pin. Here I throw my A2 again. I threw my A2 a lot today. Threw it out high, right. It came crashing back in towards the basket. I have about a 22-footer here. Man, I just left it left side. Little mental lapse. Tap in for a double bogey 6. Going into hole 10, it's 342 feet down the hill to the left in the little cove that you can see in the A position. This one, I completely just left it too wide, safe. I didn't want to cut in too early into the woods. Left it over by 18's basket, and I've
Yep.
wide forehand shot was my A2. Want to crash it in towards the basket. Leave it pretty close,
Yep.
maybe 10 feet, and I'll tap that in for my par. So at this point, I'm even after 10 holes, going into hole 11, which is a tough two. I think it's around 350 feet, something like that. Land a little bit right side, not exactly where I want to be. So it forces me to throw a forehand roller up the hill, and I tried to land in this gap, but didn't quite succeed. Here I have a really out of position putt. You can't really tell from the video, but I didn't really have anything. I just kind of hit the left side of the cage and had to tap in for my bogey. Going into hole 12, it's 336, but it plays a lot longer. It plays at least 380. This shot, I stalled it a little bit left, threw it a little bit long. That shot probably played about 400 feet, just left it a little left. I just had to pitch up to the gap and trust myself to make a nice little 20-foot putt. Made that. I was really happy about that. Hole 13, it was a little windy on an elevated basket. It's about 180 feet, and I just want to leave a really high stall shot so I can give it an ace run but not too fast. And that's my ideal shot. Nice easy tap in birdie. Hole 4 is over 500 feet. It's a crush off the tee pad and then kind of a shorter upshot, maybe 120 feet, and go off track. I leave it up on the hillside, throw my A2, and I just wanted to keep it wide, but that did not happen. I just cut in left way too early. I'm about 40 feet up the hill. I actually had these bushes in my way. Can't really tell from the video, but I was really hoping to make this nice little step putt. Just left it too low, underestimated the hill, and tapped in for bogey 4. Hole 15, 320 feet. This is actually kind of weird because you have to miss the pole for the T sign for the short tee pad. I leave it wide on a hyzer, trusting my 450 D2 back towards the basket. Left me with about a 10-15 footer. That's a good birdie, giving me confidence going into hole 16, being even. 345 feet through an insanely tight gap. I kind of just crashed it in early left, maybe missed the gap by about 3 feet. Got a fortunate kick and a pretty easy hyzer up shot. Leave it within 10 feet of the basket and I can have a nice tap in par. Going into hole 17, it is one of the toughest holes out here relative to par. The tee shot is really tight. You can't go too far left or you won't have a good angle for the approach. I just really wanted a high stall hyzer that I could leave right at the gap, and I can throw a nice straight shot through the high gap over all the branches. This one just came out early, too much hyzer, and this leaves me a 50-footer, and the only thought in my head was, I do not want a bogey, and that motivated me to make the putt. Hole 18, 442, I just choose to throw my M4 down the middle, layup shot, throw it really soft, make sure to get through the gap. I just want to take my 3 at this point, don't want to go for a 2 but risk getting a 5. I get up and down, nice little tap in putt. I finish with a 55, which is an even. It's a mid 900 rated round. I'm pretty happy to shoot that well and get it on video. Made some nice putts, threw my A2 a lot, and yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and share with all your friends.